Good morning. So today I'm going to talk about Pegaxy, right? So this is a project that I just invested yesterday. And it's very lucky that I saw the price just pump up about 30%. So that was very lucky in timing. So I got to know the project because I follow two other YouTubers actively in the GameFi space. One is a Crypto King, the other is Attack on Axis. So basically, these two fellow YouTubers, right? Of course, they have much more fans than me. They have been sharing Pegaxy for quite a number of days. Yeah, and yesterday I began to study more on Pegaxy and decided to buy the native token and very luckily it pumped, right? So the reason why I made the decision in such a short period of time, one of the reasons is the two creators that I have, which I have a lot of respect. Yeah, they have been involved in this game, and they are diversifying. They have their portfolio in Axis Infinity, but they are beginning to move their money into Pegaxy. So I'm also following them. That is one of the reasons. I think the other reason is because of the technical analysis in this two token economy. So I will share you how I look at this differently. So why I'm quite bullish on Pegaxy for the next 2 to 3 months due to the game design and the technical analysis aspect of it. So let's look at how Axie Infinity become popular, right? So the story begins with SRP pump. Okay, in late April, so we have the first wave of SRP pump, right? From 3 cents to over 30 cents. Then we have another pump in the late June from approximately over 10 cents to 30 cents, 3x, right? Okay, remember the timeline. The timeline is essential, right? So we have like, okay. So first in April, next in June. Okay, let's look like when did AXS token start to gain traction, right? So we see that it's right after the second pump, right? So approximately early July, we have a modest rise, right? So probably we are looking at like around like $7, $6 to 2 to 3x, right? 2 to 3x, right? But after that, it's all the way up. So clearly, we know SRP pump first, followed by AXS. So the reason for this sequence is due to the tokenomic design. So SRP is the income for Axis. It's the NFT that you buy to play the game. So when SRP increase in value, the earning power of each axis increase. So that when the earning power of each axis increase, there is a greater demand for axis. So there's a greater amount of money flowing into the Axis Infinity to buy the axis. So when there's greater economic activity in the Axis Infinity space, there's greater transaction revenue being extracted. So remember how Sky Mavis make money. Sky Mavis don't make money by selling axis, because yeah, they do sell some of the initial origin axis, but they don't really make money from selling axis, because most of the axis are being bred into existence. So they make money from transactions. So their business model is a lot like the casino or poker table. So the players are like players who play poker with one another, right? And the casino charge transaction fees. So as long as there are more people playing the game, and more people interested in the game, more people who believe that they can have sustainable income from the ownership of the axis. Sky Mavis will benefit. So they will receive all this revenue in Ether. And all these drive up the value of AXS later, because AXS is the governance token, which is linked to the ownership of the community treasury. The community treasury is the treasury for Ether, all the transaction revenues. And not just Ether, but also AXS, because if you want to breed axis, you have to pay in AXS, and all these AXS are not burnt; they are kept in the community treasury. So as long as there are more people entering this casino game, AXS value will go up because all the transaction revenue. So that was the logic for Axie Infinity. And now we have Pegaxy, right? So Pegaxy is basically a game. It is about horse racing, but from my perspective, I never emphasize on the nature of the game. It's always the nature of the tokenomics that is much more important than the nature of the game. You can play a game as simple as rolling dice or blackjack, but I don't really care that much, right? It's how each party is making money that is really important. So this game is heavily modeled after Axie Infinity. So the token that you earn that has unlimited supply, the SLP equivalent here is vigorous, right? So right now we are seeing a pump in the vigorous, right? So this is like start of the year, right? It's pumping from the low of the 4 cent to the high of the 12 cent, right? And it's getting to the top again, right? So, and then we see the PGX token, which is the AXS equivalent. Is just going up a little bit. It is like reaching the previous all-time high. So previous all-time high is around 50 cents. So because of the Bitcoin crash, right? So it didn't really break the all-time high previously. So it's trying to break the all-time high again. So, and there's a very big chance that it can break the all-time high very quickly in the next, I believe, in the next 3 to 4 days. Yeah, clearly make a breakthrough, because we know that when the SLP finish the pump, is followed by AXS. So we know that the vigorous has already pumped, right? It's going to do its second wave, right? Remember the SLP has 2 waves. Yeah, but this there might be even a bigger wave, right? Because this might not be just like the entire thing. I don't think we're going to finish this after this wave, right? These two rise could be just a small segment of a much bigger rise, which I believe, because there's so much money now who are trapped in Axie Infinity. They are looking for a higher ROI elsewhere. And all this money, even if, like, say 20% or 10% of the money that is flowing out from Axie Infinity and flowing into this, right? This will make it increase like crazy. Okay, so from a timing perspective and a tokenomic design perspective, we know that vigorous will, as long as vigorous continue to pump, eventually it will drive the governance token, which is the PGX. we know from the history and our experience with Axie Infinity, because gaming revenue will drive PGX to greater height. We know that for sure thing. This because that was how Axie Infinity works, right? Okay, and another thing we know that is likely to happen. That's likely to happen is that well, you will make money from the game participation, right? Buying NFT and hiring scholars. That's one way. You also make money from ownership of the governance token. There are two ways of making money. And the easy way of making money is always by just buying the governance token and sit on it, right? Because if you look at the history of Axie Infinity, right, basically like the AXS token just get a 50x or even 80x, depending on when's the starting point you choose. But if you are actually running the scholarship, right, you got to get it early and exit really well, and you got to avoid or you can't avoid it, but you got to handle the nerfing very well. You got to know how to manage the scholars really well. There's a lot of time investment, and even with all this time investment, you got to make sure that you don't double count. You take up so much risk, and we know for sure thing your investment will underperform AXS. You see, this is the irony of crypto economy, right? It is very similar to the history, right? When Bitcoin first come into existence, a lot of people try to make money from Bitcoin through having a Bitcoin related business, such as mining, right? But we know, looking back at the history, the best way to make money from Bitcoin was to just hold Bitcoin. Not running Bitcoin related business, whether it's mining or education or but exchange is another different example. If you run a good exchange, crypto exchange, you can make a lot of money. But that's an exception. But in any other related business, you are going to underperform Bitcoin significantly. So that was the irony of the history, and that irony was designed by Satoshi Nakamoto, right? Because Bitcoin tokenomics is designed to benefit people who hold the coins for a long period of time. And we know that from the history of Axie Infinity and the history of and what we know from the tokenomic design, you can check out my videos on the two tokens economy for GameFi, right, which I made previously. That game is designed to benefit people who hold governance token, who just sit there, do nothing, and make most of the money, right? Well, it sounds very unfair, but that is how it is being designed. It's designed. Okay, but I need to highlight some distinction, right? So this is not just Pegaxy is not just a Axie Infinity over again, right? Because Pegaxy has made several improvements. So basically, they have designed a game in such a way that the vigorous token, right? There are a lot of utility for the vigorous token which you can burn. So the burn to min ratio is not that bad, right? So the last check is around 90%. So which means that for every 10 vigorous that is minted, actually 90% are actually being burned. So they are actively aware of the flaws of the Axie Infinity. So they are trying to create a game that's more sustainable. So in the future, we can see there's more equity between the players versus the stakeholders who just own the governance token. So it's a game that's more fair to people who actually play the game and own the NFT and who take the risk. Right? But having said that, which I believe that is a much more fair game, I still think that eventually holding governance token will outperform actually playing the game. This is due to game design, and there's no escape around this. Right? holders will just sit and take much less risk and make more money. Now, even though the extreme polarity between the players and the stakeholders will be minimized here in this new game, because they know the problem and they are trying to create more equity. So they are going to give the players much more benefits and much more fairness. There's much more fairness designed into the game, which in turn is a good thing for the stakeholder as well, because it will make the game more sustainable, right? So we can see that transaction value for Axie Infinity is 4.25%. Transaction revenue for the tax for this game is around 3%. So they are actively trying to decrease the amount of the value being extracted by the casino, right? And so that they make sure they're actually more value for the players, for the people who actually invest in the NFTs. So I applaud them for doing that. But that will make me change my mind. So about GameFi, right? So GameFi is that just hold a governance token. So I think there's great potential for this game for the next 2 to 3 months, right? And right now we just hit a bottom in this so-called bear market. So when Bitcoin price go up again, so I think it's going to create a lot of bullish momentum that will benefit this game. Yeah. Okay, that's all for today. If you like my channel, subscribe my channel, Cryptonomics, and like my video if you like my analysis.